There is a place begins to fade where the lost embers go. Ember ran, because standing still made them feel helpless. The wall glistened. The painting showed embers on a sacred journey. Ember felt so afraid and alone that it was a relief to find someone to talk to. Ember froze, almost too frightened to look away, when they noticed a small satchel. The satchel felt heavy. Ember looked inside. The statue shone brightly in the light. There was a symbol on the floor. There was a symbol on the floor. Ember noticed something wrong. There was a round space where something used to fit. To Ember's delight, the golden statue slid perfectly into place. Ember left, feeling sorry for the stranger now alone in the dark. The stairway opened into a dark forest. Ember could feel fear taking over. They'd washed up alone, somewhere very unfamiliar. Ember felt like they were being watched. The foxes howled into the night. The only reply was silence. The path was blocked. As Ember approached, the flames seemed to call out. With a feeling like falling, the forest fell away. Ember felt lost in darkness and ruin. The caged flame stoked new hope in Ember. Hope was almost within reach. The flame spoke and Ember listened. The flame lingered ahead. Was it trying to escape? Or leading the way? The campfire flickered into life. The ghost spoke. Hope has returned to a forlorn. They will be safe here. I inform them. Ember looked to the ghost for answers. This is a place between places, to travel through as your light fades. But none have passed in a long time. Forest King holds us here, and those who dwell too long turn forlorn. Again that word, forlorn. The forlorn are those who lost their way along the path. If you find them, send them to me and I will guide them. I am just a guide along the way to fan the flame. So many lost embers have I seen. Ember thought of those they loved, those they'd left behind. There are others lost. Find them, and whenever you feel ready, you may move on. A forlorn rests behind you, above this campfire. The stranger said, "Take care of those you care about the most." The door was sealed shut. Barely visible through the murky, and on a small pier with barely a sound, a lonely fisherman sat. The stranger had been forgotten. They tried to guide the best they could. But feared as others had turned away. The stranger looked at Ember somberly. I wonder who will meet us in the end. The stranger looked at Ember somberly. I wonder who will meet us in the end. The stranger's courage lay dormant. They travelled paths long drowned. Solitude was all they knew. The forlorn resisted Ember's kindness. But still, Ember stayed. The stranger looked down. I took so much for granted. The stranger was trapped in their head. Thought crowded in on them. The stranger's voice was hoarse. It lingers, friend. It's hard to let go. The fisherman murmured quietly between soulful breaths. The gloom was choking. The fisherman felt so useless and alone. Only the dark water to hear him talk. In that darkness, a glimmer flickered. A thought beating like a drum. A thought that went round and round. Sitting out there every day by the pond. All started with a frog. Every day by the pond, a constant reminder. For a brief moment, the fisherman struggled to speak. The fisherman looked at Ember, hoping they would listen. The fisherman spoke softly, saw him grow from a tadpole, spent every day side by side. So much better at fishing than me, that frog is. Catches them before I can bait them. Oh, it makes me feel useless some days. The fisherman sighed. I've wasted so much time feeling. Ember could see the old man struggling with their thoughts. Thanks for listening to me ramble on, Ember. To good heart, and if you need help catching anything, you just ask. Thanks for you've got a good heart. If you need help catching anything, you just ask. The frog stared at Ember, its belly rumbling. Its eyes were fixed on Ember. Was this the frog that the fish? Ember could hardly ignore the rumbling from the frog's belly. The frog stared at Ember, its belly rumbling. Thanks for you've got a good heart, and if you need help catching anything, you just ask. The ghost said, "Speak, and I will listen." The frog can help to find a lost forlorn. The old gate was locked. The crow held its shining trophy tight. The worm looked helpless. As Ember picked it up, the worm let out a little yelp. Inside was a scrap of journal. I am so scared. I've never been alone like this before. This is a place between places. It doesn't feel real. The key was nestled between the reeds, but it was just out of reach. It didn't seem like that would really help. The Wanderer's Diary. On my lanthorn, playing a hollow ward off the field, a songbird took its perch beside me. The stranger shivered in the cold. They'd moved through such dark places. The road had stolen all warmth. The stranger blinked at Ember. The two shared a moment of silence. The broken net hung ominously around the skeleton's neck. The door was sealed shut. The stranger said thoughtfully, "I felt so alone. I was so lost." The ghost said, "Speak and I will listen." The frog can help to find a lost forlorn. The frog stared at Ember, its belly rumbling. This was not how Ember had imagined the end. The gurgling of water, a deafening heartbeat. But then the frog returned Ember's good deed by leading them to a lost forlorn. The stranger was hoarding doubts. So much had been pushed away. They just wanted to rush on. But their way had trampled others. Even when their path was clear. In the end, they were alone. The stranger spoke hesitantly. It feels good to hear a voice other than my own. Ember found the Wanderer's diary. The frog in the forest knows more than they will say. I watch them carefully. I dare not go in the caves. The spiders whisper. The caves are deep. The fisherman noticed the broken net Ember was carrying. "Let me have a look. See what..." With a silk thread, with each knot he tied, a net began to form. "Here you go. Good as new." The key was nestled, but it was just out of reach. Ember used the net to catch the key. The old gate was locked. Ember placed the key in the lock and slowly began to turn it. The stranger asked Ember to leave them be. Sorrow was long buried. The stranger's thoughts dragged down. The tide's ebb washed over old walls. The stranger feared Ember's approach. unsure what dark water could hide. The stranger spoke. Thank you for not turning away. Thank you for not turning away. The ghost said, "You have done all you can, little one. Your journey lies ahead." Little one, your journey ahead will not be easy. The path to leave this place is blocked. I will guide others to follow after you clear the way. There are others like me who can help. You will always be welcome here in the forest. Once again, Ember could feel eyes watching. Ember uncovered a journal entry. The forest is misty after the morning rain, but there are pathways to find between the trees, patches of sky through the canopy, rain-laden clouds above. The guard joked. Another scrawny Ember from the forest. And with the bag licking all night, both guards started looking at Ember with a death. The guard leered. The forest king would. Yes, come a little closer. Let us see what's in that bag. We guard the door to the Forest King. Oh yes, we decide who gets to see the king. The Forest King will want to see you. Yes, yes, come this way. Ember was terrified but tried not to show it. The giant bird spoke softly. Another little Ember. Speak, little one. Do not fear. The bird is a friend. Ember wanted to feel safe. Oh, little Ember, birds won't hurt you. Birds will take another under our wing. Stay safe in the nest, you'll never turn forlorn. Ember was still afraid. Is it the night that scares you, little one? See, night is gone. Birds will make the world less frightening. It wasn't only the night that frightened. The bird grew frustrated. Stay. No need to help, silly forlorn. Hope is false. Hope hurts little ones in the end. The Forest King spoke so gently to Ember, perhaps they could hard to know what else to say. Clever little Ember, you will stay. You will not turn for. Search for hope no more. Now take this feather. Feather means Ember is what. Birds keep little ones safe. Birds should never leave the nest. The guards seem pleased. Clever. I'll leave him alone. They're one of us now. Yeah, one of us. And we all shares bags and things. Back again. Where's the other little runs? I'm sure we don't know. They left the quick way, right over the wall. Ignore them. They're just having a little joke. Yeah, having a bit of joke. It didn't feel like a joke to Ember. He's resting now. It takes a lot, you know. Turning night to day. Stay out of trouble. The guard squawked. Stand back, don't come any closer. Nothing down there but sadness and turning forlorn. Go see the Forest King. He'll set you straight. One of us now, I see. Got your feathers, it's the only... Keep an eye out. No one but us birds can pass. Ember didn't like deceiving the birds. But what choice did they have? They couldn't rest in that place forever. Hidden away was a scrap of journal. I'm learning the joy of fishing, mending a net. But the voices of the forlorn trouble my dreams. How can I help them? Ember hurried birds. The mist hung close to Ember, hiding them. The forest king seemed frightened. The birds cruel. Ember would rather risk turning forlorn than become like them. Ahead there would be others to help, and maybe a way to move on. Ember found a scrap of journal. In a wide pond, the trees on the far side barely visible, the oily smell of frogs. I leave a forlorn I could not save. The traveler seemed distressed. I'm sure it's fine. They'll be okay. But it's been a while since. It's my fault. The traveler seemed distressed. But it's been a while. It's my fault. The traveler whispered quietly. No matter where, I always hear. It looked like a map, but pieces were missing. New route. It was the same place as before. But how? An eerie scene, like a moment frozen in time. Hidden inside was the Wanderer's journal. Pink, orange, red, brown, leaves gently dancing to the ground. Crunch, crackle, lovely sound, fall into a giant mound. Gradually, more of the map was revealed. A section of bridge had somehow been ripped from its foundations. It was like the map had been broken on purpose. the mist revealed a secret place. Was it hidden on purpose? You know, part of me didn't want to be found. I said some things I shouldn't have, and now I'm lost. And it's too late. The skeleton held tightly in its hand was a red feather. The statue spoke just as it once moved the hearts of the forlorn. The instrument you now hold has the power to move the world around. Another before you took great effort to hide it deep within this riddle. The lanthorn began to glow. Inside was a secret diary entry. I want to help others, but my mistakes overwhelm me. Every step I take is surrounded by paths unexplored. A lost message was inside. Firewood on the campfire, the cold put out. A merry lanthorn tune, it felt like being home. Then frosty words remembered, chilled. There was one last place to reach on the map. Ember found a secret note from the Wanderer. I tried to help those around me, but nothing I said seemed to reach them. As the days pass, my thoughts are grey. Is this what it would feel like to turn forlorn? Ember found a lost message. I ran out of hope and knelt down in the damp. Lost and too tired to go on, I let the thoughts carry me away piece by piece. The fog was so blinding, Ember was turned around. Inside was a scrap of journal. I must move on. I've done all that I can. My journey is important too. It was hard for me to stay. Ember felt a great relief to be out of the mist. The way through was ruined, muffled by the fog. Ember, could that have been a tremendous snow? Ember didn't mind getting muddy. The slide was such fun. A sleeping pig in a pile of... They looked happy. The plant looked like it could take, and it was in Ember's way. The fruit was giving off a sickly sweet smell. Ember chuckled. The dangerous plant was no match for a hungry piggy. A hideous odor filled the air. And suddenly, the reason was obvious. The pig inhaled a giant snort of air. Wait, what? Ember shuffled nervously. Other embers fed me treats, but then stopped. You feed me now. The Wanderer's Diary. An ancient throne sits empty, void of those who once lived here. Who rules this lost world now? As the pig chewed, a light grew in its belly. Fruity, fresh. But what I want is something with more crunch. The pig would eat anything. Ember just needed to find more. And with each thing it ate, the light grew even brighter. Crunchy, embery. Not much meat, but what I want is a flavor with more spark. Perhaps if Ember could satisfy the pig, they might be more helpful. The skull was disgusting. Perhaps the pig would like it. Ember came upon another campfire lost in the wilderness. It looked, the ghost said, "Speak and I will listen." This is the hollow marsh. Here hope was consumed before it could. You must not lose hope. Or you too will turn. Ember thought of those they loved, those they'd left behind. There are others lost. Find them, and whenever you feel ready, you may move on. Watching a pig grow unhappy, a forlorn, lost hope. Through the mist, Ember could feel they were being watched. The stranger knew they had to move on. The path behind was forever closed. How many other paths had collapsed? They tried so hard to see it all. The stranger stared past Ember. I'm almost ready. Let me sit a little longer. Ember found the Wanderer's diary. I'm beginning to lose my path. The fog closes in, the world shifts around me. As the forlorn awoke, the campfire flickered into life. The ghost said, "Speak and I will listen." The path ahead lies Know that if you return, you will always be welcome. Warm yourself, little one. Time is to be savored. Ember uncovered a journal entry. The Whifflers play together, but scatter at the sight of me, hiding their treasures well. Hidden away was a scrap of journal. The pigs are no help till they're fed. It's their nature. But I love their playful company so. Ember found a scrap of journal. In the swamp, hungry embers become like pigs, eating the rotting fruit, clothes stretched on bulging bellies. Hidden inside was the Wanderer's journal. The music of the lanthorn holds great power, but I use it only for pleasure, playing silly melodies. The stranger was ruminating. Some bonds were effortless. others beyond reach. Again and again they return to the past. They twisted by unseen. Gratefully, the stranger said, "Friend, thank you. I can see your heart is good." It was junk. Maybe the pig would eat some junk. Inside was a secret diary entry. At times I see such delights in this world to share with another. I planted some seeds, trees whose fruit I hope to never taste. The stranger felt only fear. They'd come so very far. The stranger seemed ashamed. I know it's time to move on. It was junk. Maybe the pig would eat some junk. This was the last thing Ember could find to offer. Surprising, a little sparky, but what I... The pig's stomach made an almighty sound. Ember chuckled with relief at the large creature they had been so afraid of. A lost message was inside. The waft of cooking broth and a stew of fish carries me across the swamp. Good food shared, a welcome respite. The pig had vanished, but something moved beneath the surface. In a muddy pond, Ember thought the pig looked a lot less imposing. The pig shouted joyously, "Join me, morsel!" The pig seemed happy, but Ember wasn't getting to. Why do I consume whatever people put in front of me? I need some true nourishment, but there's none left. But so much cooler in this muddy pond, I can finally think. Thank you, morsel. A stone golem frozen in the lake, a relic from a forgotten time. Ember chuckled. The dangerous plant was no match for a hungry piggy. Ember found a secret note from the Wanderer. The taste of a good broth is not easily forgotten, but it slipped my mind to thank the cook. The stranger couldn't take on more. The time to grow had passed. They had what they had and nothing more. The stranger warned, "Friends, get out as early as you can." Ember found a lost message. "I come upon a lost forlorn. The need in their voice overwhelms me. Shamefully, I leave them trapped in stone." The pot had turned cold. The fire had died. Nothing the cook made felt good enough. Endlessly stirring the same tasteless pot. Couldn't focus, sleepwalking through the days. Aimed inwards was a swirl of thoughts. In the eye of the storm, a fragile flicker. They wanted to serve something perfect. The praise of others was Ember couldn't hold on. The cook felt numb and hurt all at once. The cook spoke softly. Oh, hello, little one. I didn't see you. I must have lost myself for a moment. It's supposed to be my new soup recipe, but it's not ready. A wonderful smell waft. You look starving, poor. Have a little taste. It was the most beautiful thing Ember. I know. It got no Ember wished the cook would believe them. You're too kind, but you don't have to. Thanks for trying, though. I'd forgotten how much I like feeding folk. Ember really wanted some more. No need to pretend just to make me feel better. Maybe it's got something, though. Oh, I used to love this. Just want to be good at it. But it feels like I'm making the same things over. Nothing has flavor. I'm stuck. If you know what you want, I can try. But I really need something from the orchard, if it was still standing. Oh. The cook struggled to hold back his... Pigs have gotten in, planted every all my hard... Take the key and have a look yourself. I can't bear to. See if anything is left, but I promise you, there won't be. The stranger was afraid. They couldn't see what lay ahead. Ember's own fear was reflected. The darkness hungered for everyone. The ember spoke hesitantly. I struggled to accept not knowing. The orchard gate was locked and needed a key. Ember placed the key in the lock and slowly began to turn it. The cook was right. The pigs had destroyed everything. Ember chuckled. The dangerous plant was no match for a hungry piggy. The frogs seemed nervous, but also relieved to see Ember. They told Ember that the birds had let all the pigs and that the pigs had eaten all whilst the birds watched and laughed, except one precious thing the frog had managed. The frog offered the lotus seeds to Ember. They pleaded for Ember to take the lotus, as the frog knew how important good ingredients were in hard times. Inside was a scrap of journal. To see hope fade in one you care for. The harder I squeeze, the quicker it slips away. The stranger's mind was scattered. They considered their journey from every angle. Perhaps they'd been left no choice. The stranger spoke. "The road is long, friend. Please take care." The Wanderer's Diary. How do you help hope find a perch in the hearts of those you care for? I must harden myself to leaving others behind. The stranger couldn't face themselves. They'd never meant any harm. The stranger couldn't face themselves. They'd never meant any harm. The stranger couldn't face themselves. It just hurt to be outshone. easier to turn aside. The stranger searched Ember's face. How do we keep going? The ghost said, "You have done all you can, little one. You have done well to get this. I will clear the path ahead for you." You have seen another watching over you. They know the secrets of this place. Seek them out. Hello there. I can't believe I've never cooked with lotus seeds before. Ember felt happy seeing the... What a lovely surprise! Please try some. It's not much, but there's plenty to go around. Help yourself. Be well, little one. The pig was joyous. What is this, Morse? It's like my inside feels as refreshed as my outside. I feel nourished for the first time. Compliments to the chef. Hello there. Thank you for everything. Take this and be well, little one. The pig was joy. It's like my inside. I feel compliments to the chef. With courage, the ember said, "We should be more careful of each other." With love, the stranger said, "I needed a friend." Softly, the ember said, "Most people are unhappy sometimes, don't you think?" Gently, the stranger said, "Love survives us all in it." The ember spoke hesitantly. "Nothing is endless," the ember whispered. "It's so long since I last," the stranger said thoughtfully. "I needed better friends. I can see that now." The painting was the same as Ember had seen before. Two embers shone clearly in the daylight now, their journey ahead. Ember found the Wanderer's diary. Feeding the pigs gives me a subtle comfort, their lives so sweet and simple. Well now, we've been looking everywhere for you. Oh, fun, over the... Hope you have a good excuse for running off, Scab. Ember's heart sunk. Ember told the birds about all they had seen in the marsh, pleading for their help. Save your made-up stories for the Forest King. Oh yes, tell the lies to the king. Get back in there. Yeah, we're not letting you out yet. Ember felt nervous standing before the king again. Frustrated, the Forest King said, "Poor tired Ember, where did you go? You must rest now. You give false hope. Try and fail and hurt." Ember could feel the Forest King looking right through them. This end, there no more. Why not stop? Let go of this. You must stay. No more foolish hope. Last chance. Take key. Make sure gates are locked. Let no more in. Let no more out. Ember took the key. What choice did they have? Yeah, don't betray the Forest King again. The crossroads gate was locked. Ember placed the key in the lock and slowly began to turn it. Eagerly, Ember left the birds behind, glad to be free. Ember was at the entrance to a dark cave. The smell of steak like it had once been flooded, but now was bone dry. It was a Gordian knot. Ember needed something sharp to cut it. He's not got eyes in the back of his head. Crab is all yours. Look at that claw though, friend. Could do some real damage. Ember uncovered a journal entry. A songbird floated above, searching the fog-footed trees. Its call, sharp, jolted me. I moved on.